Hello, Oshkosh City Council Member Michael Ford here. I just want to spend a few minutes to fill you in on an agenda item regarding absentee ballots that will be on our City Council agenda on Tuesday night. At our previous meeting, we had voted 5-2 in favor of putting this as an action item. And what it would do, this resolution, is require the city clerk's office in Oshkosh to mail every single registered voter in the city an absentee ballot application. So some facts around this. There's 34,488 registered voters in the city of Oshkosh. So under this proposal, every one of them would get an absentee ballot application. Now that is not the same as sending everybody a ballot or going to an all-mail election. There would still be an in-person election, and people would still have to follow the normal procedures to get an absentee ballot, just like they had to do in the previous election. So things like voter ID will still be at play here if this passes. What exactly should we expect if this does pass? Well, some of the research out there from James Sewick, I want to pronounce his name correctly, at Emory University, shows that in states where they have done this, you can expect to see about a 3.5% to 4.5% increase in voter participation. So that would be a good thing, I think. More voters means more people are having their voice heard, and as I campaigned on, I think every Oshkosh resident has a stake in our city's success and a right to be heard, and what better way to do that than through voting. Interestingly, his research also showed about a 5 to 6% decrease in straight ticket voting in states that allow you to do that. So what he concluded was people were spending more time thinking through their voting choices using this methodology, which I also don't think is a bad thing at all. Importantly, there are 5 other states, Colorado, Hawaii, Oregon, Washington, and Utah, that already do this. So this is not this wouldn't be us reinventing the wheel. There's other communities in Wisconsin that have already made this decision. I have had a few people ask me about the potential for voter fraud, and I take that seriously. Our vote is sacred. I don't want my vote being canceled out by somebody else's. But I think it's worth noting a couple things. First off, that this doesn't give everybody a ballot just because they're a registered voter. It gives them a absentee ballot application. The process will be the same as it's always been, so there shouldn't be any new opportunity for fraud. In addition, the Wisconsin Elections Commission has some interesting stats, and I like to use stats when making decisions like this. Between February 2018 and February 2019, there were 2.7 million votes cast in the state of Wisconsin, and there were a total of 24 documented cases of voting fraud. And those were things like voting twice, a felon voting when they weren't supposed to, and a few cases of 17-year-olds attempting to vote in a primary election where they thought they could because they would turn 18 for the general election. And some states actually do allow that, but Wisconsin does not. So my conclusion there regarding voter fraud is that, yeah, obviously it's an important issue, but I don't think that this would increase the potential for voting fraud based on the facts as we know them. An important thing to remember here is that our city clerk's office does have the capacity to do this. I know that there was a lot of discussion or a lot of complaints about people not receiving their absentee ballot the last time around, and I agree that was unacceptable. I myself and my wife, we didn't get an absentee ballot. It's important to note that our city clerk's office did an incredible job of getting every absentee ballot mailed, and that process involves, obviously mailing it, then it goes to the post office in Milwaukee, then it gets mailed back. And the problem point this last time around was the U.S. Post Office down in Milwaukee. It was not the city clerk's office. They got every single requested ballot out the day it was requested. So I have all full confidence that they have the ability to do this. So the real issue, I think, then becomes how do we balance the cost of something like this against the benefit? The main benefit being safety. People will have the ability in November to ensure that their vote gets counted and that they have the ability to vote safely, not have to make that choice like they did the last time around of going out and violating a stay-at-home order or going and not feeling safe, or worse yet, choosing not to vote because they do not feel safe doing so. So the question is, as I said, balancing that safety and that sacred right to vote against the cost of it. And the full item isn't out yet with what the actual cost will be, but when that is out, I will weigh in on that as well. But those are some of the facts that I'll be using to guide my decision in this matter on Tuesday night, and I thought it was worth sharing with all of you. So thank you, everybody. Be safe and have a great weekend.